vanished. Not physically, but from everything that once defined me. My friends wondered where I went. My family asked if I was okay, but no one knew the storm that was raging inside me. I had reached the point where I couldn't take it anymore. The disappointments, the failures, the feeling of being lost in my own life. I was tired of living someone else's expectations, a hollow version of myself, going through the motions, waiting for something to change. So I disappeared. It wasn't some dramatic exit. I simply withdrew, step by step. I quit showing up at the parties. I stopped pretending everything was fine. I let go of everything that had been familiar. And I locked myself away, determined to figure out why my life was slipping through my fingers. I didn't have answers. All I had was a void, an empty, crushing silence that echoed louder every night I sat alone. My world had crumbled, but in that wreckage, I found one thing: my vision. It started as a whisper, a flicker of light in the darkness. I didn't want this life. That much I knew. But for the first time, I started to see something different. A life that was mine. A life where I wasn't just surviving, but thriving. It wasn't clear at first, but the more I stared into the future, the more vivid it became. I wrote it down, every detail. I didn't care how impossible it seemed. I just knew I had to chase it. The idea of becoming someone else, someone better, consumed me. And that vision gave me something I had lost, and that was my mission. A burning desire to escape the prison I had built for myself. My mission wasn't just about financial success or status. It was about freedom. It was about walking away from the chains of mediocrity and creating a life that felt alive. I had a vision of who I could become, but the space between that person and the person I was seemed insurmountable. I had no roadmap, just the overwhelming need to move forward. My mission became my filter. Every action, every decision was measured against it. If it didn't align with where I wanted to go, it was cut. Simple as that. I cut ties with anything and anyone who held me back. Friends, habits, routines, they all had to go. I couldn't afford to stay stuck anymore. The cost of inaction was too high. But the mission alone wasn't enough. I needed structure. I needed goals, tangible, measurable steps. So I did something I had never done before. I broke my life into pieces. Decades, years, months, weeks, days. Every piece of my life was now a part of the larger mission. I created goals so small they felt laughable at first, but I knew that without them, I'd stay paralyzed. Some days it was waking up and doing the work. Other days it was surviving the doubts. But I never let go of those goals. They became my compass, guiding me through the fog. There were moments when I felt like giving up. The weight of my failures crushed me, reminding me of all the times I had tried and failed. But something inside me had shifted. I had raised my standards. I couldn't go back to the person I used to be. I refused to live a life of good enough. I was no longer willing to accept mediocrity. Every day, I looked in the mirror and asked myself, is this the best you can do? The answer was always no. So I pushed harder. My friends, the ones who used to pull me down, didn't understand. They thought I had changed, and they were right, I had. I wasn't okay with being average anymore. My life wasn't about just getting by. I had raised my standards so high that failure wasn't an option. But raising standards alone wasn't enough. I realized I didn't have all the answers, so I turned to education. I devoured books, listened to podcasts, attended seminars. I soaked up knowledge like a sponge because I knew that I wasn't as smart as I thought I was. My ignorance had kept me stuck, but education set me free. I studied success like it was a matter of survival. It wasn't just about learning facts, it was about rewiring my mind. I needed to think differently, act differently, and most importantly, believe differently. Every piece of knowledge became a weapon in my arsenal. I was arming myself for the fight of my life. The more I learned, the stronger I became. But it wasn't just about accumulating information. It was about using it. That's where projects came in. Knowledge without action is worthless. I started applying everything I had learned. Small projects at first, things nobody even noticed. But those projects gave me proof that I was moving forward. Each project built on the last. I started creating momentum, something I had never had before. The first time I completed a project, something inside me shifted. I realized that I wasn't just learning, I was transforming. Each project pushed me outside my comfort zone, forcing me to confront my fears. Every time I finished a project, I became a little less afraid, a little more certain that I could do this. But the road wasn't without its hardships. I lost people along the way, friends who didn't believe in me, relationships that couldn't handle my growth, and there were nights of unbearable loneliness. Times when I questioned everything, my vision, my mission, my goals, but I had burned my bridges. There was no going back. All I had was forward, and so I kept pushing. Months turned into years. I stayed in the shadows, quietly building, quietly growing. I didn't need recognition. I didn't need approval. I was too busy becoming. But when I emerged, I was unrecognizable. The person who had disappeared all those months ago was gone. In their place stood someone who had battled through the trenches of self-doubt, who had torn down every limitation and built a new life, brick by brick. When people saw me again, they couldn't believe the transformation. They didn't recognize the strength, the confidence, the clarity in my eyes. But I didn't come back for them. I didn't come back to prove anything to anyone but myself. I came back because my vision had become my reality. My mission had been fulfilled. My goals had been achieved. And yet, I wasn't done. I had just begun. The truth is, anyone can do this. It's not about talent or luck or having the perfect plan. It's about commitment. Commitment to yourself and to the life you know you deserve. You don't have to wait for some miracle to come along and save you. The power to change everything is already within you, waiting for you to take that first step. It's going to be hard. You're going to want to quit, to turn back when the road gets tough. But remember, real growth, the kind that transforms your life, only comes from pushing through the pain. It's in those dark moments where you think you can't go on that you find out who you really are. There's no magic formula. It's about doing the small, simple things every single day. It's about setting a vision for your life that makes you want to get up every morning, no matter how hard yesterday was. It's about raising your standards, educating yourself, and never ever settling. And the best part, you don't have to be special to do it. You just have to decide. The choice is yours. Stay where you are or take the leap. You're stronger than you think, and the life you want is closer than you realize. You just have to reach out and take it.